A very good evening and welcome to Prime TV News, coming to you live and direct from the Prime TV studios with me, Abrar Abid. Now, before going to our stories in detail, let's take a look at our headlines. A laptop and 5 million rupees suspected to be that of Zahran are seized. Indian Prime Minister assures any support to Sri Lanka. Prime Minister extends greetings to the new Japanese Emperor. Bank policy rates are reduced. Rupee is stronger. Ratanathera begins a fast unto death. Delhi records the hottest May since 2013. Now, in our lead story, the police have recovered a sum of 5 million rupees that was hidden by Kalmunai Siyam, the umpire district leader of Mohammad Zahran, the leader of National Tawheed Jamaat. The detection was made on information received by the umpire office of the State Intelligence Service. It was 2 days ago that 1.5 million rupees of the 5 million rupees was recovered. The balance 3.5 million rupees was found yesterday. The money had been concealed in trouser pockets and a CD machine in an almirah of the house. Some gold items have also been recovered. A laptop that was hidden by Kalmunai Siam in a lagoon in Attala, Chennai was also recovered. He had said that this cash and the laptop were given before the brother of Zahran exploded the bomb. The computer is believed to have been used by Zahran. The data in the computer is to be investigated. Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi has said that India is ready to extend any form of assistance to Sri Lanka in the future. He gave this assurance when he met President Maithripala Sirisena this morning. Narendra Modi, who took oaths as the Indian Prime Minister for the second occasion, met President Maithripala Sirisena in Hyderabad today for discussions. On arrival at the Hyderabad official residence, Narendra Modi accorded a friendly and warm welcome to the President. After a cordial discussion, both leaders commenced bilateral discussions. The Indian Prime Minister expressed his gratitude to the President for accepting his invitation and joining in the swearing ceremony. Recalling with regret the tragedy Sri Lanka had recently faced, the two leaders during their discussions discussed to further strengthen the bilateral relations. Both leaders pledged to work together to crack down on terrorism and work for peace in the region. The President expressed his satisfaction over the landslide victory the Indian Prime Minister achieved at the recent general election. Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe has extended his greetings to the new Emperor of Japan. Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe has extended his greetings on behalf of the entire Sri Lankans on appointment of Prince Naruhito as the Japanese Emperor. The Prime Minister lodged his greetings message at the greetings book placed at the embassy. He was joined by Ambassador of Japan to Sri Lanka, Akira Sugiyama. Now, in more local news, Minister Mangala Samaravira has revealed that a relief package is to be introduced to sectors that were impacted as a result of the Easter Sunday attacks. He made this revelation at a media conference held at the Finance Ministry. The minister said that businesses falling under both the informal and formal tourism sector will be entitled to relief schemes, as such industries have faced severe setbacks due to the drop in tourist arrivals. A special loan scheme under the name Sancharaka Poddo will be made available for micro businesses, self-run businesses and also small-scale enterprises. These loans will be granted by regional development banks on an interest-free basis up to 500,000 rupees, and a grace period of 1 year would be granted to pay back the loans. In addition, musical bands will also be granted a 2-year grace period to pay back their loans and leasing amounts, in addition to being granted a working capital of maximum 500,000 rupees from the 10th of June with a concessionary interest of 3.46%.
Up to 75% of interest on these loans will be borne by the government, Mr. Samaravira said during a media conference. Further, a relief package will also be granted next week to pandal creators, electrical technicians, artists and craftsmen who were affected by the decision to cancel major Vesak celebrations this year.
Police අනාධාරය 75%ක්ම දරන්නේ අපේ ආණ්ඩුව.
Parliamentarian Venerable Ratana Thera has begun a fast unto death campaign. He commenced this campaign near the Sri Dalada Maligava. The Venerable Ratana Thera commenced his fast unto death campaign, calling for the removal of Minister Rishat Pathiuddin and Governor Asad Saleh and HLAM Hizbullah. Addressing the media before the commencement of his fast, the Venerable Thera said that he will not call off the fast until these three persons are removed. In more local news, the Attorney General today requested the Supreme Court to issue an order for a fuller bench to consider the fundamental rights petition against the Inspector General of Police and former Defence Secretary. The FR has been filed against former Defence Secretary Hemasiri Fernando and IGP Pujit Jayasundara for allegedly failing to act on prior information pertaining to the Easter Sunday terror attacks. The petition was taken up before a three-judge bench consisting of Supreme Court Justices Cicere Diabru, Murdu Fernando and Gamini Amarasekara this morning. Additional Solicitor General Farzana Jamil, appearing on behalf of the Attorney General, informed the court that the Attorney General has requested from the Chief Justice through a motion to consider the petition before a fuller bench as the case is of national importance. Additional Solicitor General Farzana Jamil made this intimation to the Supreme Court. Accordingly, the three-judge panel decided to summon these petitions on the 6th of next month. Two private attorneys appeared today on behalf of the respondents, Pujit Jayasundara and Hemasiri Fernando. The court was earlier ordered that the Attorney General did not appear on behalf of them. One of the petitions has been filed by a father of two students, Mera Sirimana and Imesh Sirimana, who died in the attack on the church at Kochikade. The petition accuses that the respondents had been unsuccessful in preventing the attacks, despite being made aware of the attacks by the intelligence units. The government has decided to grant financial facilities for 8 new schemes, further expanding the enterprise Sri Lanka. This follows the receipt of the cabinet approval for a proposal submitted by Minister Mangala Samaravira to expand this loan scheme under the 2019 budget. Acting Health Services Director General Lal Pannapitia has said that the interim report of the committee appointed to inquire onto the complaints made against gynecologist Dr. Sego Siabuddin Mohammed Shafi of the Kurunagala Teaching Hospital is slated to be handed over to the Health Ministry. A 6-member committee was appointed to inquire into the allegations made by many mothers against Dr. Shafi that they have been unable to conceive after getting their caesarean sections performed by this doctor. The Health Secretary has informed the committee to submit an initial report within a week and a complete report on the inquiry within a month. The Medical Council of Sri Lanka has also been informed to carry out an independent inquiry. It is reported that the Kurunagala Teaching Hospital today received 84 complaints against Dr. Shafi. Accordingly, the number of complaints that the hospital had received against this doctor is 388. Complaints have been received at the Dambulla Hospital where Dr. Shafi had performed caesarean surgeries. Shops in the Dambulla town were closed today in protest against him. The people held a protest opposite the Dambulla Hospital. It was joined by a group including Mayor of the Dambulla Municipal Council, Jalia Opatha. In more local news, the 75 Pakistani refugees who arrived in the country in the past were taken to a military camp in Vaunia under strict security. These refugees, earlier under the custody of the Negombo police, they lived in the Negombo area with knowledge of the United Nations with the interim of with the intention of leaving for other countries. They lodged a complaint with the police that there is a threat to their lives following the Easter Sunday attacks. Accordingly, the police took action to find them shelter at a community center in the Ambalanthota area with the mediation of the United Nations. Thereafter, they staged a protest that there was a threat to the security from the residents of Ambalanthota. Following this incident, action was initiated to find them shelter to these Pakistani refugees in a welfare camp in Vaunia. The government has decided to grant financial facilities for 8 new schemes, further expanding the enterprise Sri Lanka. This follows the receipt of the cabinet approval for a proposal submitted by Minister Mangala Samaravira to expand this loan scheme under the 2019 budget.
It has been decided to grant loan facilities subject to a maximum of 250 million rupees with the intention of uplifting the tourism industry via the Run Asvanna loan scheme operative with the aim of upgrading the agricultural industry under Enterprise Sri Lanka. This would help to purchase equipment such as tourism boats and other water-based activities. Members of bus owner associations can obtain concessionary loans to purchase buses through the Raya Shakti loan scheme operative for the receipt of new school buses. Instead of the 5 million rupees given under the middle income housing scheme that was earlier operative has been increased to 10 million rupees under the Home Sweet Home loan scheme. It's only 6% interest that should be paid for this loan that has to be repaid within 25 years. The relief interest, which was earlier entitled up to a period of 5 years, has been extended for 15 years. As many workers are entering into 2-year short-term agreements with employers through the Sihina Maliga loan scheme granted for migrant workers to build houses, there is no possibility of granting up to a maximum of 10 million rupees for a period of 15 years. Accordingly, action is being taken to grant in installments the related loan under new amendments. Loans can be obtained to purchase houses through these housing loan schemes. Loan facilities will also be extended for the building of new houses, repair of houses, purchase of land to build a house, demolish an existing house and build a new one, and to repair a house that has been purchased. A period of 5 years has been granted for the repayment of loans obtained under the City Ride loan scheme to purchase buses. Under the Jaya Isuru loan scheme, those engaged in businesses affiliated in information technology are entitled to many facilities. The loans granted under the Mini Taxi and Electricity Three-Wheeler loan scheme has been increased by 250,000 rupees. The maximum loan that can be obtained under this scheme is 2,250,000 rupees. A sum of 1.1 million rupees is being given for a person who has not succeeded in obtaining a degree from a state university to pursue studies in a private university under the My Future loan scheme. Its interest has been amended. 81 billion rupees has been approved for these concessionary interest loan schemes under Enterprise Sri Lanka program.
In more local news, action was taken to clean up the coast at Preetipura in Vattala as an inaugural program of the Environment Week. An Environment Week was declared by the Presidential Secretariat parallel to the World Environment Day. The cleaning up of the coast at Preetipura was launched as an inaugural program. This coast is frequented by a large group during the weekends. Environmentalists say that these visitors to the beach dump that garbage all over the place. The removal of such garbage had to be carried out with the participation of a large gathering. Among those who joined in this program was the Presidential Secretariat, the Samurdhi Environment Conservation Authority and the Coast Conservation Department, as well as representatives of multinational organizations. The program to reconstruct the rural tanks in the Monoragala district is now being expeditiously carried out.
It is operative under the Gamperaliya program. Around 192 small and medium-scale tanks in the Monoragala district are due to be reconstructed under this program. Accordingly, Minister Ranjit Bandara recently inspected the progress in the Siembalanduva and Vatura Aravava, where reconstruction is in progress. The allocation made for the reconstruction of the Vatura Aravava is 18 million rupees. This program will help the farmer community in the Monoragala district to undertake cultivation in both the Yala and Maha seasons.
Let's now take a look at the very latest in the business arena.
The Monetary Board of the Central Bank of Sri Lanka, at its meeting held yesterday, decided to reduce the standing deposit facility rate and the standing lending facility rate of the central bank by 50 basis points to 7.50% and 8.50% respectively. The board arrived at this decision following a careful analysis of current and expected developments in the domestic economy and the financial market, as well as the global economy, with the broad aim of stabilizing inflation at mid-single-digit levels in the medium term to enable the economy to reach its potential.
If you look at a couple of factors which the Monetary Board took cognizance of in terms of holding rates as they were, and one was the fact that inflation, particularly core inflation, has gone up a little bit. In fact, core inflation is slightly outside the 4 to 6% target range. But in the inflation targeting framework that the central bank is adopting, it's headline inflation that is being targeted, and headline inflation is well within target. And some of the factors that have led to the increase in core inflation are transitory and should begin to ease, though core inflation is likely to remain slightly above the range for a little bit of time. The other factor to keep in mind is the fact that there are some salary increases which are programmed to come in July. That clearly will feed into aggregate demand and will work in the other direction. And the final factor, again, the cautionary factor, is developments on the government's budgetary operations. Clearly, there will be pressure to increase expenditure.
And before we wrap up the news, an update on the ICC World Cup 2019, the match between West Indies and Pakistan. West Indies has won the match by 7 wickets. Now, Prime News returns tomorrow, and in the meantime, do visit our website www.itnnews.lk, your go-to source for the very latest at home and overseas. I am Abrar Abid, and signing off. A very good evening and take care.